XRP is making headlines again, with multiple ETF filings now acknowledged by the SEC, and Brazil already approving the world's first XRP spot ETF. Momentum is clearly building. But with the ongoing legal battle between Ripple and the SEC, the question is if this is really the catalyst that can drive the price to new all-time highs. Let's break it all down. Hello and welcome to another video by MCO. My name is Ben and I'm the founder of MCO Global. On this channel we take a look at price charts from an Elliott Wave point of view. This is a sentiment-based analysis method, and therefore also today we want to apply that method to take a look at the XRP long-term chart to define bull market targets, or rather targets for this cycle. So we take a look at it from a cycle point of view to understand what the relevant targets are, where the support levels are, and where I see XRP maybe in 1, 2 or 3 years. I've never done it that way on YouTube, so it will be something interesting. I also want to take a look at some of the news that has come out around the ETFs and also the lawsuit, or let's say the legal proceedings between SEC and Ripple. And that is important because it has a certain impact on market sentiment. We want to take a look at what that sentiment is, and then also we want to take a look at whether that kind of confirms our Elliott Wave count, because Elliott Waves, each of these waves has a certain personality, and it will be interesting to see if the chart actually matches what is sort of happening in real time around the price. So first of all, what I want to do, I want to take a look here at CoinMarketCap, because some of you might not really know where XRP actually stands on the ladder. It is important to mention that XRP in this cycle has made it to the third largest cryptocurrency, just behind Ethereum. Even before Solana, even before BNB, and obviously Tether, which is kind of, it's a stable coin, way behind Ethereum. However, the question is, could XRP even flip Ethereum at some point? Maybe you want to let me know that in the comments. By the way, every comment helps this channel to be seen by more people, and also particularly this video. So any comment is appreciated, and if you can hit the like button, that would help even more. Thank you very much. I just wanted to quickly show you that. It's just important to understand, we talk here about XRP, which is the third largest cryptocurrency, and it, as per many XRP followers and investors, the SEC, the court proceedings, they have held the XRP price back. I mean, that's what's being told very often. Now, I really don't listen to the news very often. I don't really account for news in my analysis, not really. But on this channel, we want to take a bigger picture view. And when we talk about investments, long-term investments, I think it's always important to understand what's going on. Important is to understand that I don't really see cryptocurrencies as investments. Now I think with the larger cryptocurrencies, we can argue that some of these have or might have in the near future a, let's say, portfolio asset quality or status rather. For example, especially with Bitcoin, that's the case. Now with more and more cryptocurrencies that get ETFs approved for, which will then be used also by institutions for investment as investment vehicles, it could certainly be the case that more and more of these cryptocurrencies become actually portfolio quality assets. Still though, the risk is nevertheless high with any cryptocurrency. I see Bitcoin still as kind of with a special status there. But I wanted to get that out of the way. And then just here, this article is quite good from Decrypt. It is just interesting because all of the things that are that are currently being talked about are actually explained in this article. So just highlighted a few things I want to share with you, not too many. Obviously, this is interesting because we have had the acknowledgement of several ETF filings, XRP ETF filings by the SEC. So this is something very interesting, a positive catalyst, many would say. So here the filings, so these ETFs have been filed, okay? And the SEC has now acknowledged the filing. That is not really an approval at all. That is only an acknowledgement of the filing. That is generally, however, positive news because more and more, let's say, large investment firms are trying to get these ETFs approved. There's really a race to get these ETFs approved. And I see it kind of, I mean, to a degree, at some point it will get out of control again. You get too many of these at some point, and then it's like, Yeah, like everybody has an ETF, and especially when we talk about high volatility cryptocurrencies, that will become a problem. I think lower market cap ones, lower volume ones. Well, XRP has quite high volume on the exchanges, so it's, I think, less of a problem. But still, the filings submitted by major asset managers, WisdomTree and Canary Capital, have obviously fueled optimism that XRP could soon be available to institutional investors through a regulated investment vehicle. And obviously that's interesting, and not only to institutional investors, also a lot of people from the retail space who don't really want to deal with crypto exchanges. They might just be interested to buy an ETF, yeah, on through their normal stocks broker, for example, right? If it's regulated, many brokers will offer these, and then the space will open up to many more people, yeah. Also here submitted via exchanges, the filings will undergo a 21-day public comment period, so there's a bit of a waiting time now following its publication on the Federal Register, after which the SEC will have up to 240 days to decide on approval that could change XRP's fate. So just highlighting that here because I made a Solana video recently where I also talked briefly about Solana ETFs that might be coming. And someone asked me about, what's sort of the timeline, and here you have it. So it can take quite a long time, nearly a year. So we might get some news around that in the second half of the year. So it's something to keep in mind. Important also that the SEC has already acknowledged ETF filings in the past few weeks. There have been quite a few: Grayscale, Bitwise, CoinShares, 21 Shares, and this is definitely interesting. So what is noteworthy, and that's something I wanted to point out, XRP hasn't demonstrated the same price surge now that followed the recognition of the 21 Shares ETF. So it's always so interesting because people always say, okay, there's this news event and it led to a price move, right? It's difficult. A lot of people say that it's been the news event that has led to the price surge or something. Now, here you have it again, right? It's, in my opinion, again, evidence that it's all about sentiment. That's what I always say. You can't say just because an ETF has been either approved or ETF filing has been approved, that's something different, that definitely always leads to a price increase. It doesn't always, right? Because it depends on what is currently the market sentiment. We are operating, the charts are moving in a certain wave pattern, which I will show you on the chart. Depending on which wave we're in, there's a certain sentiment. And if the right catalyst hits a certain wave or market sentiment, it can lead to a price jump, something that should have happened anyway. It would have maybe just been slower, or the market just waited for a catalyst, for a reason to move. But when we're in a different wave, that might not be the case necessarily, yeah? So again, it's so interesting. It's not always the news event. It's so funny because people always say that, okay, it's always this happens, so the price has to do that. Like as if there was a causal relationship. But when it doesn't happen, they're looking for some other reasons why it didn't happen. Okay, and we get to that because then they say, all right, here it is. So why didn't it happen? Okay, let's find some other news event, okay? So this possibly points to the fact that the markets remains cautious, eyeing this legal uncertainty still around the legal proceedings, right? The very existence of not yet honored SEC's legal motion has been weighing on XRP's market appreciation. But wait, wasn't that the case last time as well when the price jumped? So you see, it's just, there's a very interesting quote. I will try to dig that out somewhere from Robert Prechter. I think it was Robert Prechter who wrote the Elliott Wave Principle book, but he wrote other books as well. There's an interesting quote where it's all about, it's quite ridiculous, the whole news thing, and that people try to make the news fit what the price actually did. And then if it didn't do what they thought it would do, they tried to look for another set of news that actually was then the reason for the price not moving. It's wasted brain cells, I often call it. So we just want to focus on price. Still, I think it's important and entertaining to understand what's happening around XRP, especially here on this channel where we take more of a macro perspective, yeah? Because it can definitely, I mean, these are positive developments for XRP. So we see certainly ETFs being not approved, but filings for these ETFs are coming in. There are rumors and speculations that the SEC will probably drop its case at some point. Now, they do say that probably not much is going to happen until kind of mid-April. Yeah, because at the moment the SEC seems to be busy with other stuff. Here, Fox Business journalist reported that the SEC has been prioritizing enforcement cases with imminent deadlines. So XRP isn't one of these, such as those involving Binance and Coinbase. Now, XRP, apparently the next court deadline is April 16th. So we might not see a lot happen in kind of March maybe. So that we might have to be a bit patient, okay? So that again could be an explanation why we're moving in this sideways range we're currently in. So overall, last bit of news, SEC, while the SEC is still in its acknowledgement phase, Brazil has officially beaten the US to approve the world's first spot XRP ETF. So yeah, there is a spot ETF. It's just in Brazil, it's not, people say it's not that noteworthy. Well, it kind of is the right path for XRP, but Brazil in terms of financial markets is not as relevant as, for example, the US, of course. You know, having an approved spot ETF on the, in the US, that will be a major thing, yeah. But and there will probably be a lot of hype, like a rally towards that. Because remember what I told you in previous videos, markets are always forward-looking. Now we want to take a look at the live chart. There are a couple of charts I want to show you. This is my main chart, and I only want to deal with the long-term chart here. Yes, we zoom in a little bit, but I wanted to show you what I think is coming for XRP going forward. I have two wave counts here, and I haven't shown these two long-term charts in public yet because this is my updated XRP long-term chart on the logarithmic scale, and this is precisely what I am looking at as primary wave counts. And I have published them though in our members area for our gold members, but not yet shown them in public. So you guys here on this channel see it first. So what we're tracking here is the yellow scenario primarily. I am cautious of the red one. In reality, they won't differ much from each other. They will have a long-term, different impact long-term. But it's good if two wave counts kind of are aligned in the short term. So let me explain to you what's going on here. We have in the yellow scenario, and the yellow count is speculative because of this startup candle here, and the startup data is just not very good, not very reliable, and what we're tracking here is three waves into the 2018 high, so into the bull market 2018. So this is a three-wave move, okay? From an Elliott Wave point of view, from a bullish point of view, we're always looking for 5 waves. Now we know that a lot of cryptocurrencies, and that is something maybe, you know, a bit of knowledge for you guys. A lot of cryptocurrencies long term, they form 3-wave price tops. They never make it to 5 waves. There are only a few that have made it to 5. Many break down after 3 waves and that's it. And then they will just fade out and at some point die, be delisted. Now XRP might be different. XRP is on its way higher in a 5th wave. If this, again, we have to take it with a grain of salt because the startup data isn't great. What my thesis is that this here was a triangle pattern. Triangles are 5 waves, and this is now a 5th wave to the upside after the triangle was a 4th wave. A triangle is never the last wave in a cycle, it's the second to last, so there should be one more coming afterwards, which is also what we are looking for now here in a 5th wave. Okay, so this is happening. Now, based on this thesis then, there are certain levels that obviously need to hold. This is not set in stone. Okay, if you want to follow our daily analysis for XRP, check out our Morecryptoonline channel. I typically cover it daily on the shorter time frame. Currently, there is a level at $1.20, and I would have to revise my wave count below $1.20. At the moment, I see this as a large range because I just explained to you the market could spend some time in sideways price action. Now, just as this was a larger 4-wave move, we're now in the 5th wave. Also, the 5th wave should be 5 waves. Yeah? And in this 5th wave, we are currently likely in the internal 4th wave, which is seen as a consolidation phase, often takes a lot of patience, and is very frustrating. Now, this is precisely what I meant when I laughed about that, you know, kind of news event and okay, why didn't the price move? Because we are now down here, guys, the price was ready to move up. We did expect it at the time, at least a rally to, I can't remember, $2 or something. It extended a bit further, but there was a case, we could make a case down here for a rally. Then the price did rally, there was right sentiment for a rally because it was a 3rd wave. It's very aggressively bullish. Now we are in a phase where a lot of these buyers have already taken profits. and this is a phase of uncertainty. It is a wave 4. It is one of the most frustrating waves in markets, okay, on price charts. Why is it frustrating? Because the wave 4 often is characterized by, uncertainty. It bores people out. It doesn't necessarily scare people so much. It's more about people getting bored, don't pay attention to the chart. There are fake outs. As you can see here, this high the attempted breakout to all-time highs above 340. And it could just be that this wave 4 that we're dealing with at the moment, that it might just be extended a little bit further. That's why my view is, anybody who's trading this, it has probably done most of what it will do in this cycle. I think it could still double, triple, okay, from here still, before it gets a large correction, okay, and maybe even quadruple, but it started down here at around 40 cents, right? So it's already done most of it. So from a long-term investment point of view, I think that's probably not the best time here. Was more, better was the time in this accumulation phase here, where it was really difficult to track the shorter time frames for XRP. The long-term chart hasn't really changed. But for anybody who's trading this actively, it could be an idea to use this as a trading range where you have a lower boundary at $1.20, and then you can pick one of these next upside targets as upper range boundary, $4.20, $5, for example. And then should the price drop a little bit, it's maybe accumulate, sell, accumulate, sell, accumulate. Because a lot of people get frustrated when that happens, but actually it's like a money printer if you can trade the range, if you have the right expectations. Because I don't necessarily expect it to break out straight away. I'm watching for it. The correction is healthy enough so that it's ready and the price could already break out to the upside. But don't be surprised if XRP spends a few more weeks or even a couple of months in this sideways range, okay? But I would call that noise from this perspective. And then we would get one more high in a wave 5, and that could complete a larger cycle. If you know my Bitcoin update, and on this channel I made some long-term Bitcoin updates, then check them out. And I talked about one more high for Bitcoin as well. Surely this could extend a little bit. And if it does extend, it might very well, just sort of add another 4-5 pattern here somewhere. Or just simply extend the fifth wave. Fifth waves sometimes can extend as well. But in terms of next reasonable upside targets, I think we talk here about round about $5. This is a very important one, $5, $5.65. There are two main levels that the price could react to here. These are two main levels, $5, $5.65, based on their meaning from a Fibonacci point of view. That is a 2x, maybe even a little bit more. Obviously, these are all relevant levels that I've got here, right? It's just a matter of how high does it extend. And based on the microstructure that will develop in this fifth wave to the upside, we will probably be able to tell where exactly it is going to land. So for now, $1.20 is for me the key pivot between bullish and bearish momentum. There seems to be some confluence around the $5, $5.65 area. When we then move higher, there will be short-term support levels that we will adjust with the price that will probably allow us to trail a stop or something. Yeah. So then we can just participate in any Fibonacci extensions and just let the market deal with it. For example, 981, I wouldn't rule that out. That is a reasonable target. At that point, however, this fifth wave will get very extended. Now, in an alternative scenario, the rally is not completing a 5-wave pattern, but rather a 3-wave pattern, already topped here in an A wave. Yeah. And then this is a different wave count in red, where we had a 3-wave in A, which is a large corrective pattern. This here is an A high B wave. B waves can overshoot, and then we would get a C wave decline in the next bear market, and then we can rally. So A, B, C. This is a bullish long-term view that would also not lead to crazy, ridiculous targets. Yeah. So because a C wave is more muted than, for example, a third wave would be. But what I primarily watch for is in the let's say in the medium term, still rising prices. So I am bullish at the moment. There is always a level when I have to change my view, which would be below $1.20, and that might be the case. When we get below that level, we have to adjust. It might be that that this red B wave already topped. That's why it's on the chart. If it breaks down early, I might have to consider the B wave already topped a little earlier than expected. B waves don't have to overshoot, but at that point we would have to consider it failed to form a 5-wave move up, which would not be great long term. But if it forms 5 waves, then I promised you we take a look at it from a cycle point of view. Then the next pullback should be corrective in a wave 2, okay? And then we would probably rally in a third wave, but also this can be A, B, C. Just A wave and 5 waves would be more clearly bullish. Okay, so where in the next bear market might the price go to? It is really difficult to say because really without a confirmed price top in wave 1 or A in yellow, I can't really give you targets. What we, however, can say is that oftentimes, let's assume this is a wave 1, then Elliott Wave guidelines tell us that oftentimes the price would find support in the area of a previous wave 4. And this is obviously where that triangle was. Now, it doesn't need to be at the end of the wave 4, in the area. Now, I think it is best to, in this case, add the VRVP, the volume indicator here, visible range indicator to the chart. Check which area was actually traded most frequently, right? Price-wise, what's the point of control? And here we talk about the 20-cent area. It's essentially here the area between 66 cents and 20 cents. You might say it's a large range, yeah, but you cannot narrow it down any further. It would not be professional. And it really depends also on where the high in this cycle eventually will be. But it already gives you an area where the price might land. Now, if you say this will never happen again, we all know that cryptocurrencies, whatever crypto it is, in bear markets, it typically corrects like 80% or something. So let's just assume we might reach, let's just assume we, even if we get to $10, yeah? So typical corrections, 80%, sometimes 90%. Let's just measure to the downside from up here, just an 80 to 90% decline. And XRP probably won't be an exception, right? So, okay, we might talk about only like if we say 90%, it might be like 85 cents. That is pretty much at the top of where this cluster starts. And it might just get a wick down there and then recover or something. But you get 80 to 90%. It needs to have the right look. We will have to see where it tops, but I'd say it should probably get into the area around 80, maybe a little lower. And there's a good chance it even goes lower. So there is going to be a lot of fear in the next bear market. So don't think it will just hold up because you think it should. Therefore, it always makes sense with these altcoins, whichever altcoin it is, to have a regular profit-taking scheme. Now, for example, when we come to long-term holding for Bitcoin, I do have a HODL portfolio. I won't even sell at the top of the bull market. Yes, my cycle core portfolio, yes, but not my HODL portfolio. Some people might want to have that structure in their XRP portfolio as well. But XRP, in my opinion, is not yet that portfolio asset. Now, everybody might have a different opinion. I'm just simply looking at the chart. So for me, I think the levels are very clear. We already have a first orientation where in the next bear market things might go to. Surely it depends on where we top. Absolutely. But what I wanted to show you, there is another chart, and I normally don't use these linear charts because they have a lot of problems, right? Because in linear charts, everything looks distorted. I mean, when you talk about price increases, we don't say, oh, XRP has now moved by $1 today, right? It didn't, oh, XRP increased by $1 today. Nobody says that. People say like it moved up 20, 30, 40%. That's log scale. Yeah, prices move in logarithmic terms. Prices do not move in linear terms. So that's why these charts are very distorted, but there isn't really a right or wrong. Typically, it's recommended to focus on the logarithmic scale when it comes to high volatility assets and larger time frames. However, we can come up with some levels here on the XRP linear chart, and they point into the area between 370 and 575. These are just standard mathematical projections for a C wave, because here on this chart we can say this was an A wave, B wave triangle, and the C wave standard targets here. So we probably have not reached a top yet if the interpretation is correct. And I just want to show you there is some confluence between this and the other chart where we talk about here $5 to 570, reasonable targets for a C wave. On the other chart, we have $5 to 565. So that's why I did that exercise. First of all, to show you also something new. I've never shown this chart anywhere on YouTube before. And it gives us some confluence just to identify areas. You know, I'm just looking for some areas where the price could be, that the price could be drawn to. And $5 is just a nice and round number. So I would just pay attention to that in terms of resistance. Eventually we have to see how the price reacts to that level as well anyway. So that's the update about XRP. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please make sure that you hit the like button. It helps the channel a lot. Leave a comment, could be anything. It could be your suggestion for a new video topic. It could be your opinion about where XRP goes to in the bull market. I mean, let me know. I mean, I'd be really interested what you think. Sort of sentiment-wise, it's quite interesting for me to read that, where you think the price will get to, or do you think we've topped already? So let me know that. Activate the notification bell. Subscribe to the channel for more videos. There's a lot of stuff that's going to happen here on this channel. I mean, we're already approaching the 10,000 subscriber mark in not even a couple of weeks. That's amazing. It's amazing what this community is doing here. And I read the comments and I thank you so much, because the discussions here on this channel, where we bring a stocks community together, a crypto community together, maybe even Forex and different markets, and even the metals community, precious metals, you get completely different discussions than we get on our Morecryptoonline channel, for example. So I'm impressed. Thank you very much for your support. I wish you a great day. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.